kids. I've also been around entertainment with pets too. I've seen big cats go nuts, big elephants go nuts.
Oh boy.
Chimpanzees go crazy in emergencies. I mean, Sherman Oaks, they used to shoot the Tarzan movies out there. When they had a big problem, fire and earthquake out there, they had to move everything.
Oh.
They, because my father was used to handling big animals, and me and my grandmother knew the people who were in charge of the place where they held them. They said, "You come over and help us move him." My father said, "Hell no." He said, "Those things have got teeth on them." And so I went over. My father, who was older and smarter than me, wouldn't go, but I played with the animals half my life, so I went over. And I can guarantee you, it was not healthy. They're training you to do it like, to whap in the nose. You bit me, wham. I would, the object is, you got to save the life of the animal, even if you have to break the rules.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I heard one of the people out there saying that one of the trainers, "You're mistreating that animal." He said, "That animal is going to be dead if I don't get that animal out of here, so I'm going to kick his ass if I have to get that animal to move." The idea is you're trying to save them, and a lot of animals will simply hunker down. They won't get up. And when you try to move a big animal that doesn't want to get up, they don't want to get up.
Because even it's like moving your kid when they're asleep.
Yeah.
For some reason, they're all of a sudden dead weight. Like Monty, she's only 36 pounds, but boy, when she does not want to move, I swear you think she's attached to the ground.
She found out yesterday that I can pick her up when she doesn't want to move. With one arm, I picked her up yesterday. She's got that, generally I pick her up with both hands. Yesterday I picked her up with one arm and, she's not used to having that happen. So things change during an emergency. Like I said, no matter how well trained an animal is, it's going to revert to being an animal. There are the only domesticated animals in the world are humans, and you know how bad we get in emergencies.
I know.
And we are the only truly domesticated animal. The other animals are all wild that are basically cohabitating with you. But you give Monty half a chance, Monty would run away with a good-looking boy. Yeah, the boys aren't necessarily as likely to move because the boys basically can have all the girls they want. But when a dog is in heat, the dog is likely to care. And if it's a chihuahua will mate with a tree. These are vet things. These are things that are important, but I'm just giving you stuff from the veterinarian side of the world. And I've seen all the disasters and know that people are generally more prepared for their pets than they are for their children, but they're ill prepared for their pets, which shows you how badly they're prepared for their children. Isn't that something?
Well, now we're sitting here talking about it. We talk about all these things. I'm sitting there thinking about all the things I need to do.
Yeah.
Okay, because otherwise, if I had all of it done right now,
I
could be showing you my kid.
I know, but because the trick is, I came in at the end of her other dog's life. I came in at the beginning of this one, so I walk the fence, I rebuild the fence, I do everything that has to be done on the exterior protection, and then I try to make certain that the inside of this house, which I've also been responsible for doing a lot of building. We got one whole bathroom that's built for a dog, folks. It's got built multiple showers. It's got a big super tub.
Yeah, it was built so we could be able to give the dog baths.
Yeah, so it was designed specifically for the dog, which is funny. It's a beautiful bathroom, but it's designed for a show dog. And so I've been here since my Monty was 10 weeks old or something, and I'm her trainer more or less. She will do things for me she will not do with her mommy because she knows that. She knows if she can roll her mommy, she can't roll me. And I don't tend to give her treats for behavior. I'll give her, if something that she normally wouldn't do, then I give her a treat. Like she doesn't like to have her collar off, so when we took the collar off to examine it, I gave her some milk. But I also was prepared to lock her inside the house while the collar was being examined. I didn't want the dog outside because it doesn't. She is a big dog. And a big dog can simply go through a nailed fence. Anytime a big dog wants to go through a nailed fence, they just hit it hard. That's it. So, like I said, she's got, she'll get this kit ready for the Monty. But the difference is that she's prepared because she has a collapsible kennel.
Yeah, she already does.
It's just a matter of taking it out real quick. Monty is trained that when she sees the kennel go out, she
already knows
she
she's
knows
going
she's
somewhere.
going out. So she's basically, in her case, is she's wound up about going out is going to be more,
More exciting.
more exciting than the emergency that's going on because I'm getting to go. I mean, she's traveled all over the country too. I mean, this girl is marked from here to God knows where. But most of the stuff we have an emergency kit for non-spring chicken in the car, but we don't have one yet for the Montavious, which is now going to change. Yep. See,
Well, I have stuff that we have for dog shows. So
Yeah.
it was the dog show kit.
yeah, but the dog show kit is not the
Same as the emergency kit.
Yeah, and which is funny, because we got a show dog like Monty, you probably should take the dog. That should be another thing. You should take the dog show kit with you. For a simple reason, the dogs are valuable, and if their fur gets knotted up and all that stuff, you need to really be able to fix it on the fly too, because you can't go
Yeah.
someplace and spend 2 weeks and let the dog's fur set like it is.
Well, like
So-
I said, Monty has more shampoo than I do.
Yeah.
She has more grooming tools than
And
she got all the scissors and the brushes.
Basically, we bought like a $2 pair of scissors for you the other day, and she got like about a $200 pair of scissors. She got several set of scissors yesterday, this week. Her scissors can run a couple of $200 upwards. And basically, they can only be sharpened so much before you throw them away and have to get another set. And if you bend them a little bit, they're shot.
Or if you drop them,
They're shot. Which
they're out of kilter.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know how expensive they are to sharpen?
Yeah, but these are things like, she didn't think about this before we started doing this, and Monty's been around Monty's no baby, she's been running this company for 5 years now. So now we'll build an emergency kit based upon, like I said, it's almost identical to the human kit, so if you put both kits together, you're basically well off. Make one thing that's not on this list though.
What's that?
There's no water on this list.
Food and drink for 2 weeks. Which would be water.
Oh, food and water, yeah.
Food and water.
Yeah, food and water, but the food should be in, I don't have any at the moment, but there should be like in, actually a 5-gallon container of water is easiest with a dispenser on the side, not when you gotta pull over.
Now also they do remind you to rotate the dry dog food every 3 months because otherwise it goes bad.
Yeah, it also, don't get dog food that has anything, like meat byproducts and stuff in it. It's best to have a dry dog food that the animal likes because you don't want to have something in that dog food that might mold and give the dog some problem.
The other thing is the food that you have in the emergency supply kit, it should be the same food that your dog is used to eating.
Don't give them anything different. I mean, if you feed them canned stuff all the time, bring canned with you. If you feed them dry, bring dry with you. Don't bring them something, a treat, like, well, in an emergency kit, we're going to have canned filet mignon. Well, because the dog might not eat it because the dog is upset, or the cat is upset.
If you're using the can food, remember to bring a small can opener so you can open it. But just like if you have dog food, they tell you if you're changing your dog food, you have to gradually change it over several days.
Yep.
So does that give you an idea? So just keep the same.
And another thing that's not on this list would be a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
Because you really need something to open that can if the can opener doesn't work or it doesn't have a pop-top lid. And you need something to open that bag of dog food if you don't have, if you can't get it open. The best way to do it is a Swiss Army knife. So that's how to do it, folks, but it's also got a little pair of scissors in it. I mean, I think of all these bad things that aren't on the list, but then again, I actually don't have an emergency kit, but then I'm old.
Well, also something you can add, which even the people's kit is blank paper and a pen
Yeah.
or pencil.
Yep.
And that's so you can write notes.
Yeah, basically a stick-em thing.
Those little,
Little stick-em, one of those things, because see, you can also, as you're leaving your house, you go spam on the door and you tell people where you're going, because the last thing in houses that go generally are the front doors. Which is funny, during most emergencies, unless there's something that happens on the front of your house, it's almost from the back of the house. Which is unusual. Fire generally burns from the back forward, not from the front backwards.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you basically, it's simple. Because also there's a reason too. Front doors generally have a great big sill above them. which is to make certain that the weight of the house can become bearing. It's a load-bearing area, which is the front door. So which is why it's almost always the safest to stand in the front door in an earthquake.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and it's the safest place to put something on a house if you really want it to stay. Or you have a can in the ground, and you sit there. Yeah, you have a can. You put the thing inside the can, stick it back in the ground, and then leave.
What's the can in the ground
The
for?
can in the ground is where you can leave an information about where you're going.
Oh.
That's if you know your house is going to go, you just have a thing like that. Because a lot of people have cans in the ground and stuff, which is funny, where they put keys to get in the house. And you basically do like that, or if they got a rock that's a phony rock. But those are things, that's part of the emergency situation is, the case for a lot of people, basically, they will flee without a cell phone. And there's not a whole lot of telephone to call people out there anymore.
Well, see, there's the problem. Yeah, there's not a lot of them, and then if it's a big disaster, your cell phones don't work.
That's right. So it's best to leave like stick-ems if you possibly can. Stick a note to let people know.
Yeah.
So
So on your cell phones, of course, always have one of the things for disasters is he said, have a phone number of a contact that you can contact that's out of your area and that other people can contact.
Yeah.
This is real helpful for a family.
Yeah,
So you just call up, and tell them.
it works all the same way. The pets are a member of your family. I mean, I could never, like they did in Katrina and those places, leave the pet.
I know, that was,
It's just like they said when they had that great big fire in Antelope Valley. I mean, my father and my brother and I were up there with the fire on the hillside in Vancouver for moving the livestock. Like my mother, well, they're not worth anything, we're going to replace them. Well, I'd grown up, my father had a string of horses he had from the cavalry, and I grew up riding those things. And basically, and the bull was a big pet too, because the bull, but back in those days we had a 4-H. We raised the bull from a little tiny thing until a great big thing, which all the girls rode around on too. And the pigs, I could care less about up there. But we just went up there, we put the fire on the hillside coming down, and we're roping animals, and we're herding them along, and we've got blinders on the horses. We basically here's a good one, that you put a towel, like you're doing this to your horse. So the horse isn't scared, and the horse can't see where the horse is going. So you have to sit there in front of the horse, and you're leading the horse, which means because you're leading the horse, you're not riding it, the fire's coming down faster at you. So you can only go as fast as you can walk, and the fire can go faster than you can walk. So in a sense, it's stupid, but my father, my brother, and I would have never left an animal to burn and be killed in a fire. We knew people that did.
oh.
Well, because those were animals, they weren't that big a deal. They were animals. With us, they were parts of the family.
Yeah,
You ate part of the family. But,
No, it's like.
yeah, well, we never would have sold. Okay, 4-H, my father went and my father would go to the 4-H things and buy back the animals that we sold. So, and then but you can't do that, we're getting too many. So then we get the property next door and expand the range. So this went on for about a decade until you outgrew 4-H. And my mother to the girls, I'm not going to let them join the 4-H club. We've got too many animals. Well, the ones you buy back you didn't eat. They become family pets. And we had, we had lots of cattle that we're never going to get. But the way we looked at them, well, we got milk and we can use, their kids, like you're going to do that. What my mother would do is, my mother would trade off one of ours that we grew for somebody else's, and that one was perfectly acceptable. And then, because it never dawned on us, the other guy was going to
Do the same thing.
Do the same. He's going to eat the ones we gave away. But okay, you're just trading them. We're just trading this one, and we're not going to kill that one. We were not very bright kids. No,
But then you weren't killing your own pet.
No, we weren't killing the pets. But no, those are all things. Like I said, you should know what you're getting into before you before you get any pet. You should be willing to take care of that pet, and you should be prepared